Yo, no intro today. So, my guy Dave is doing something for the community. I already talked to the Eagle subscribers, but for the 76ers, if you want to enter this raffle, it costs $10 for a ticket. We're picking the winner in a month. You get your custom 76ers shoes. You can have anybody on it from AI, Joel Embiid. Again, the link will be in the description. Make sure you check it out. $10 buy-in. In a month, we'll find out who the winner is. Like I said, you can get anybody on it. Sixer style, Joel Embiid, AI, anyone. Now, with that being said, let's get to the video. What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. And today, I want to talk about 3 possible buyout candidates for the 76ers to consider. Maybe we don't do nothing. We are going to talk about that, and I definitely want to hear from you guys. Also, we're going to finish up on Joel Embiid's mindset and how he told Doc Rivers, I'm back. And what does that mean for the rest of the NBA? But before we get into all that, if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, do me a favor, smash the like button. It goes a long way for the channel. Greatly appreciated. Also, turn on post notifications so you know when I go live or drop some content. We do live play-by-plays on this channel. And last but not least, follow your boy on Twitter. That's where we talk Sixers basketball behind the YouTube scenes. With all that out the way, let's jump into today's topic. And that is going to be the 3 possible buyout candidates first. So, as we all know, there's only 21 games left of the regular season, and the buyout ends on Friday. So after Friday, there's no longer an opportunity for a team to buy someone out to try to get an extra bench piece or just solidify some type of rotation. Whatever it is, you know what I mean? Maybe you just need a guy and you're a team that's not going for a championship. You do it. But the Sixers got to be careful on who they select, because with 21 games left, we're going to the playoffs. And as you guys know, I've been saying it in live play-by-plays. I said it in a couple videos. In the playoffs, there's no such thing as a 10, 11, a 12-man rotation. You don't need to go deep in the bench when you get to the playoffs. When you are in the playoffs, whether it's the first round or the Eastern Conference Finals, everybody has to extend their minutes, play a different type of role. And that's where we're going to talk about some of Ben Simmons' struggles in the past and possible future and a bunch of things on this channel in the future. But let's talk about the rotation. I see Doc Rivers using a 9-man rotation. 8 or 9, 9 being the biggest. We all know who the starting 5 is. Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Danny Green, and Tobias Harris. So when you look at the rest of this team, who's the first person that we're going to bring off the bench? Who is that first person? It's possibly going to be George Hill, the newly acquired 76ers, to be that 6th man. Then you got Shake Milton as the 7th. You got Dwight Howard, who's going to have his minutes dropped because of the playoffs, but will play that big man backup role, and he makes number 8. Now, number 9 was tricky. If you want to go offense, you go Furkan Korkmaz. If you want to go defense, you go Matisse Thybulle. If the game is too nip and tuck, you stay with the 8-man rotation and don't use none of them. So where does that leave a guy like Mike Scott, who's very important to the team? Y'all thought I was serious? No, we all know how we feel about Mike Scott. But Furkan and Matisse are going to be that odd man out and or both out if Doc goes 8 instead of 9. But if we go 9, you got to pick one of them, and I think it's going to be situational. So now with that out the way, when we talk about these 3 buyout candidates, we got to know, are any of these 3 players that you saw in the thumbnail able to knock out Furkan or Matisse for that 9th man rotation? If not, then it's a waste of time, because we will be getting this player on the roster for 21 games unless your mindset is that you can use them and get them together this year and maybe use them in a playoff run next year. But I'm expecting some more free agent moves with the cap space we freed up from Al Horford. But let's get into it. So we're going to start with the first one, Kelly Olynyk. Now, This season, he averaged 11 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, shooting 43% from the field, only 31% from 3. I was talking about him as a stretch 4 to come in and relieve minutes for Tobias Harris, so you don't have Mike Scott. But like I said, Mike Scott won't be there in the playoffs. So who on that bench will Kelly Olynyk play for? I think Tobias is going to play heavy-duty power forward minutes, and when he does sit out, I think they're going to be able to have that George Hill and Ben Simmons lineup where Ben plays in the 4 spot to take some of the pressure off Tobias Harris. So I'm not sure where Kelly Olynyk really fits in this whole situation. So to me, solid player if this was the start of a regular season to put on your roster instead of a guy like Mike Scott. But I can't see the Sixers making a move for Kelly Olynyk for the simple fact he's not going to make the playoff roster. So that brings me to my next guy, Otto Porter, who was averaging 10 points per game, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. He's shooting 43% from the field, 37.5 from 3, which is right around or a little higher than league average. And he is an interesting person for the simple fact, hear me out. I just told you that Furkan and Matisse Thybulle are going to be that odd man out if Doc River goes a 9-man rotation. Well, here's the thing. Furkan is odd man out because he can hit the 3, space the floor, but he got no defense, and defense is required in the playoffs. And Matisse is on that bubble for the simple fact he got all the defense in the world. But when you look at his offense, it's been up and down, a little better of late. But when you have Ben Simmons, who's going to be more in the half-court set because you're not going to get as much transition, running, turnovers, in the playoffs, they're going to limit that, which is going to make you set most of your offense up in the half court. You can't have Matisse on the floor too much with Ben because that is an okay shooter at best. The floor needs to be spaced for guys like Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. So that puts a damper on that too. And what you get from Otto Porter is a better defender than Furkan and a better shooter than Matisse. He's not a better defender than Matisse, and he's probably not a better overall shooter than Furkan, but he's right in that middle range. So he's a guy I see that can crack the rotation possibly. He would be the last man on the rotation and sometimes not play, but he's far better than Mike Scott, all them guys, and he can give you a little both of Furkan and Matisse. Last but not least, we're going to go with Wayne Ellington, who averaged right around 10 points as well, only 2 rebounds, 1.5 assists, but he's shooting 44.4% from field goal range and 42% from 3. This is the guy who we can use if we really want to space the floor. If you have a mindset that we're going to think about using Furkan mainly over Matisse in the playoffs because we really got to spread the floor for the half-court set when Ben Simmons is handling the ball, whether it's George Hill, whether they mix and match the lineup, stagger it, I don't know. Wayne Ellington is an option because you're talking about a guy who can catch and shoot. You're talking about a guy who comes off screens and is deadly at the 3-point shot, shooting 42% this season. And he's been doing a lot more off the screen type shooting, which JJ Redick used to do. Furkan does it, but he's not consistent with it. Wayne Ellington is a more consistent version of Furkan, I believe. The one downfall I will say is they both don't play much defense. I will give the slight edge to Wayne Ellington probably, but when you think about this, Furkan, the last year has been growing in this system. Slowly growing, but growing. Now, we would only have 21 games to get Wayne Ellington up to Furkan Korkmaz speed when it comes to knowing his spots, picking his poison, fitting in with Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and Tobias Harris, Seth Curry, Danny Green, and all of them. So I don't know if it's enough time and it's worthy to do that depending on the price. Now, you know buyouts are normally dirt cheap. So right now, to me, Kelly Olynyk is not an option. Otto Porter is a let me think. Same with Wayne Ellington. But again, I don't want to mess the chemistry up. I don't want him taking too many shots. And again, we're talking about a guy who's going to be that 9th man on the rotation. Because none of these 3 I said are going to beat out Shake Milton, George Hill, Dwight Howard, and that is where I think Doc is going to lean to. Maybe 8, and if not 8, 9. So again, we're not talking about filling this roster for a long regular season in case of injuries, get some backup shooting. We're talking about a buyout candidacy for the long run, the championship run. So with all that out the way, let me know in the comment sections, would you pull the trigger on any of these 3? And if not, let me know who would be your 9th guy in a 7-game series, Matisse Thybulle or Furkan Korkmaz. Now, before we end up, let's talk about Joel Embiid's comments. I love his energy in his fight. I mean, the guy simply said he was mad. He went to the free throw line 20 times. The Celtics in general only went 18 times. He out free throw shot the whole Celtic squad is because he's too hard to guard. I mean, you get a fast guy, he's too strong. You get a strong guy, he's too fast. He's doing James Harden step backs. He's doing Kobe Bryant fadeaway shots. He is just out of this world when you look at a 7+ footer, 280-pound guy playing like a guard and then switching it back to the Shaquille O'Neal type play. It's just unimaginable. But he said he was mad that he's not a 90% free throw shooter, and that just goes to show that the man never stops grinding, never stops trying to perfect his craft, and he's going to keep going. And you heard what he said to Doc Rivers. I'm back. First game back. After another rest, he did play against the Minnesota Timberwolves, but this was like the first game he got some minutes, and he dropped 35 without even trying. It didn't even look like he broke a sweat. It's a man amongst boys, and I'm loving Joel Embiid's attitude. And again, I like to get on Ben Simmons and certain players on this team, but when this team is healthy, when this team is playing on all cylinders or just shooting the ball decently or good, they're going to be hard to beat because of the mismatches they have with the 2-man game, the double screens, the triple screens, Ben Simmons' defense, and just a lot of things that go into it. Yes, Ben is good when he's with a bunch of people who are doing everything. It's just that when Ben needs to come out of his shell a little bit, he's still not willing to do that. And we'll see where that goes. At this point, we can't argue, get Ben out of here. He's going to be a part of this run. Whether it works in the playoffs or whether him leading in fast break dunks and assisted threes start to not show its effectiveness in the playoffs, we will find out soon enough. But with all that being said, Joel Embiid still has a shot for the MVP and get out his way. With all that being said, that's all I got for you guys today. I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. Make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on post notifications so you can come chop it up with your boy in a live play-by-play when we play the Pelicans. Until next time, y'all know what time it is. We out.